Welcome to Right on Track, a songwriting podcast. Thanks to Tone for tuning in. I'm Demi Michelle Schwartz, and I'm thrilled you're joining me on my songwriting journey. So kick back and relax, don't fall flat, and remember, stay right on track. Hello, welcome back to Right on Track. I am very excited because joining me today is Georgia Nevada. Hi, Georgia.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited you're here today because we're talking all about social media, and this is a very huge and important topic. So I can't wait to dive into this. But before we do, can you share a little bit about your journey so far as a songwriter?
As a songwriter, I've been writing since I think I wrote my first song just before my 16th birthday. Um, and I kind of haven't stopped then. I used to dip in and out of it and I'd just write when I was angry about an ex-boyfriend or something. Um, but now it's definitely become kind of an integral part of the person that I am. And I write about pretty much everything whenever I can. I released my first single in 2020 in September. And since then, I think when this goes out, I will have released another two. But I have currently released another one, and the other is on the way.
That's fabulous. So you are pretty new. My first single came out at the end of 2019, so I'm pretty new at this too. How are you liking it so far?
Yeah, no, it's been great. I think because the UK went into lockdown for so long, it kind of it gave me the time to focus on it a lot more, and it kind of gave me the kick up the butt I needed, I think.
I completely agree with that. So, we're going to be talking about social media. And so, to start off this conversation, would you like to read a quote by Will Smith?
Yeah. Stop letting people who do so little for you control so much of your mind, feelings, and emotions.
I don't know about you, but the first time I read that, I got a major reality check.
Oh my god, same. I was literally like, well, if that's how Will Smith lives, then I will be doing that more. um, yeah, I think everyone can relate to that a bit, can't we?
Yeah. So, what is going through your head right now after reading that?
I think that it's one of those things where because it happens so often. I mean, I don't know about you, but like someone can say something really small and it will stick with me like for forever. Um, and I think taking things with a pinch of salt because it's true. Like someone will say something, they won't think twice about that what they said, but it will stick with you for however long it does, and it's usually far longer than they've thought about it. It's far longer than they've even considered it. Um, and I think especially with social media and things, it's so easy to say an off the cuff comment that is out of order, but it's so quick. It's so quick. You type it and it's gone, and then the person on the receiving end has to kind of like carry that with them, I guess, and work out a way to move on past it. Um, so and they are people who do very little for you because all they do is make you feel like rubbish. so yeah, no, I think it's a really really powerful quote and definitely something that everyone can relate to in some capacity.
Yeah, exactly. And so much you said, I can totally relate to. And one thing is like, you can just type something and post it and don't really think about how the person receiving it is going to feel. And I think one of the biggest flaws with social media is you're not face to face with somebody.
Exactly, you can't read body language. There's nothing.
Yeah, and people are a lot braver to say things when they're not looking somebody in the face. And I think also a part of this quote that really kind of hit me was a lot of these people we don't even know. And so we're taking things that basically strangers are thinking and saying about us and taking those things to heart when they shouldn't really matter and they shouldn't have so much control over our lives.
Yeah, completely. Completely. I totally agree. And it does as well. Like a really small comment that that person was just in a bad mood and typed it and sent it can really kind of stick with you. And it does control your mind, feelings, and emotions, really, doesn't it? But it's definitely definitely good to not let that happen, I guess.
Yeah. So, we both were talking a little bit about these negative comments that really get to us. Over the years and with your time experiencing negative comments, have you found any techniques of dealing with that?
I mean, straight away, I will block people. Because if they're gonna be doing things like that, then I don't need them in my space. To be honest. And I think so blocking people, I don't rise to it. I think it's all well and good getting into an argument with someone over a controversial comment, but at the same time, like, is it really worth it? Like, it's more effort for you to have to sit there and go through that like conflict on social media than it is to just delete it and move on. Um, and I'm not someone that will battle to the ends of the earth if it's going to cause me more stress than the original comment did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I'm all for blocking people too. And also not contributing back to the conversation. Like if somebody leaves a mean comment or says something that kind of triggers you in some way, like I never, fuel the fire by replying back. I always just try to ignore things.
Exactly. It's never worth it. I remember it's happened to me. The one that I can remember the most was on Twitter. And Twitter is not my thing. Like, I'd love for it to be, but it's just not my thing. I don't do enough. I don't think I have enough time in the day to be able to go on Twitter and like post about it all the time as much as I would love to. But I got a comment on a post that I did about, I think it was my first release. And it really took me back, and I left it and I tried to forget about it, and it was so difficult. And I just the hardest thing was not responding. I think it was going, okay, they've said something kind of mean, but I'm not going to reply, because if I reply, it pushes it up further in an algorithm for a start, and quite frankly, I don't want my comment to be seen by people. It also gives them, yeah, like fuel to the fire, like you were saying. Like, it's pointless. And actually what ended up happening was other people saw it, and they defended me, and I didn't actually have to rise to it. Like, it was kind of, I think we've got a really lovely community going on. If you keep good people in your space, that will really shine through when moments like that happen.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm so, so sorry that you got a mean comment like that. Like, it's
It
so
happens, it
unfair.
happens.
Yeah, it does
It's
happen.
fine.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
like this is something that like mean comment after mean comment, it can really kind of destroy somebody's confidence, and it's definitely bad on mental health too. So like I definitely think from time to time it's so important to just completely step away from social media, even if it's not a direct comment to you. There's so much negativity on there that is so unnecessary to drown ourselves in. So I definitely think it's important to take steps back from time to time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember, I think it was maybe, must have been about a year and a half ago. It was when I started to really pick up and ramp up my social media and my presence as a musician and a songwriter. And when I was doing that, I went through everybody that I followed, and I just cleared it out. Like, I just got rid of anyone that made me feel crap. I just removed. Do you know what I mean? I just totally filtered it all out, and it made a huge difference.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm all for the unfollow sprees. Like I go through those like every once in a while just to like get rid of the toxic
Exactly.
people.
As long as you're not following and unfollowing, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's a big no-no. But yeah, I mean, just filtering like the negativity out, I think, is really important. And it's not a bad thing to keep like controversial people on there, and people that will start debates and things like that's. I'm all for a healthy debate. But unnecessary ag or rudeness, or even just someone that makes you feel inadequate, like, there's no need. um you know people are far more considerate now, and you don't need to be filling your space with with people that make you feel poo.
Right. No, I completely agree. And I think a challenge that we all face as songwriters and artists is that we have to be on social media. Like, I know there are some artists who completely avoid it. And a lot of the artists that do that I know of are like super mainstream and they don't have to really rely on social media. But as independent artists, the way that the industry is nowadays, social media is such a big part of that. So, how have you tried to come to terms with needing to be on social media in terms of your career?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I see social media as a necessary evil, but one that I want to kind of harness and comfort. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's it's been my day job for a little while as well. I run social media and things for other companies, so it's always been something that I've done. But doing it for yourself is a lot harder. Um, so for me, I take steps back all the time. I kind of I make sure that I schedule as many things as possible so that I don't have to think about it too much. I try and be as real as possible. Like, just if I'm having a bad day and I'm not going to be doing a live stream that day, then I tell people, this is going on. Sorry guys, I'll be back next week, or pop me any requests you've got for the next week, and keep things kind of going like that. But I definitely try. I have to make a conscious effort not to stress about it. If that makes sense. Like, a conscious effort to make sure that I am taking steps back and giving myself time where I am just like scrolling. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think
Yeah.
everyone needs some scroll time every so
Uh-huh,
often.
definitely. Yeah, 100%. And I completely agree about, being real too. Like, it's so important for us to be authentic and show our true selves. If we're having crappy days, everybody has those. It's okay to say, hey guys, I don't feel good. um, and, I do that too. And also, I'm like really busy too. Like, I'm in grad school and I'm going to be starting a program with the Songwriting Academy and like all this
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, so I have like so much going on too, but I think like you, we both kind of realize that this is definitely part of the whole experience and we have to be on there. But being mindful about when we're on there and not staying on too long and just kind of getting on to do what we need to do and then get off.
Yeah, and also like turning it into a space where you want to be. So like I always try and post things that are funny or like entertain me, or like things that would actually entertain me. Does that make sense? Rather than
Yeah,
like
definitely.
posting, what I think everyone else wants to see or what everyone else would. I don't know. I don't know. Making sure that you're not. I try and do a lot of photos with like no makeup and just chilling, because if I start overthinking it, it becomes so much of a chore. And it doesn't need to be. Like, this is 2021. People are we're a lot more clued up on things, and I think it's the world is becoming a nicer place. Hopefully, fingers crossed. um, like, we can do what we want. We can wear no makeup. We can be curvy. Um we can use our space as our space. You know?
Right. Yeah, no, that's how it should be. And I think that's really important that you brought that point up because I feel like so many people can get locked into looking at what everybody else is doing and thinking, like, oh, this person is posting this, so therefore I need to make these kind of videos and I need to make these kind of graphics and all those things. But it is exhausting when you try to, like, level up to all these things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's important to just do what's right for you. Like, your social media is your social media. And I think as hard as it is being an independent artist, I think one of the best things is we have complete control over everything, including our social media. So we don't have any label or anything dictating what we're posting. So we should have the freedom to post what we want and whenever we want to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Agreed.
So, what are your favorite things to post on social media? I know you mentioned some funny posts and, just being chatty and being yourself. But in terms of music related content, what is your favorite kind of thing to share on there?
Ooh. I like making reels. I really struggle to find the time to make them. Funnily
I
enough.
know, I haven't made any yet.
I do it for my job all day long, and I do it for all these different companies, and then I get home and I'm like, I don't want to make anymore now. Like, I'm tired. Um but yeah, making reels for my my Instagram is fun. Like I did I run a live stream. I've made it monthly now because obviously new gigs are coming in and things, but it was weekly, and I had to rearrange my whole living room for it to get the camera in. My other half plays the drum as well, so he was playing the cajon for me, and we were doing this weekly live stream, and it would take like half an hour every Monday to set it all up, and I did a reel of it just to show everyone like how much effort it required. That one was a lot of fun. People enjoyed that, I think, because it showed a bit behind the scenes, and it was also like, it was us picking up tables and doing a bit of to me to
Oh
you,
my
like
gosh.
dropping them and
I want to
him being
watch this.
annoying. Yeah, like things like that are quite fun. But then, to do that, we had to set up the camera and then be like, okay, well, no, because you're out of shot. Ah, this is annoying. Oh, my phone died. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it all just, yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah. No, and I think like the whole behind the scenes thing is something I definitely tried to share a lot too. Like just like studio sessions. Like every time I record in the studio, I always film it to make vlogs and stuff. And I think like sharing those behind the scenes moments on social media are things that people really like to see because it kind of invites them into the whole experience. Like funny moments in the studio, setting up for a live stream. It just makes it more real and like authentic sharing those things.
Yeah, completely. I mean, for my latest single, which will have come out actually, I think when this goes out, um, it I've got a music video for it, and I've when we were filming it, we literally did just as much footage in behind the scenes as we did for the actual video, because the behind the scenes is can be so interesting. Like even as an artist looking at another artist behind the scenes, I think it's fun. Like it's one of those things that just draws people in and it entertains everyone. It's easy content to make, really. You're doing it while you're doing other things, so you're multitasking. Um, yeah, no, it's a good shout doing behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree. And what's so cool about it is like some of the moments that happen during these behind the scenes kind of things are so fun. And those are like the best memories. Like when I look back on my studio vlogs, it's like reliving amazing days over and over again. And I think it's so cool how social media gives us the platform to invite them in or everybody else in because when you're in the studio, I mean, I guess you can live stream it, but just for like focus and making sure there's not a super high stress level, I would never live stream a studio session.
No, I agree.
But like, but
That would be
like,
too much.
yeah, no, way too much. But being able to get footage to edit together and share is like a next level of that. So I think it's really fun to share those fun memories with everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned that you're not a fan of Twitter, which is like really interesting to me because I'm actually like a huge fan of Twitter. That's my favorite one.
I had a feeling you were. Um, yeah, no, I, you know what it is, right? I have been trying to change my name on Twitter and it wouldn't do it, and then I tried to change it again and it still wouldn't do it, and then I changed it again and it worked, and then I had to change it back. Like, I just have a real like mare with Twitter. Like everything else, I can recite like the back of my hand. Like I just know the ins and outs of everything for everything else, but Twitter is like even for like business wise, I hate Twitter. I can't use Twitter for work. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's just always baffled me. And I've always had Twitter. I've just never really got the hang of it. I remember, like, I think 3 posts back from my last tweet was probably me. I think I did one, like, back in 2018, I think, where I reversed my car into a fence, and I remember that was, like, my first tweet.
Oh my god.
But to me, I was like, "Well, I've reversed into a fence, there we go, that's an exciting thing to tweet about," and
Right.
nothing has happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't I release songs and I write songs and I post about that, and then but I do you post about what you've had for breakfast? Like, I don't have breakfast. I've already ruined it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like the thing with Twitter is like when I first got it, I would post like everything, and my Twitter would become like my diary. And then I would look back on things and be like, Demi, what are you doing? Why would you post that? But I feel like
Exactly.
nowadays, like, I'm taking it more as like a networking tool, and it honestly works if you approach it that way, because I've gotten so many interviews and airplay just from doing that. I connected with Rachel through Twitter, and that's why she emailed me about all these interviews for this podcast. So like, I feel like if you use it the right way, you can make amazing connections. But I definitely wiped my whole following list to keep it to like industry people and close friends and my artist friends and songwriters, to get rid of all the unnecessary chatter. So I can definitely see how Twitter can be like annoying sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think using it as a tool is really smart. And I think my aim at the moment, I probably spend about 2 minutes on Twitter a day and stress out and get rid of it again. But the aim, the goal, is that I will spend at least like half an hour on Twitter a day, or 10 minutes even, and then just interact with the people I want to interact with, stay out of the conversations I don't really want to be a part of. Like,
Yeah.
just keep things going like that. Give it the attention it needs, definitely, because it does need attention, because it is an insanely good marketing tool and networking tool. Um, but like, it just fries my brain a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't doom scroll. I've been there.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't think I could sit there and scroll through Twitter for ages. Like, that would honestly just melt me. Like, I would be watched like scrolling through, like, I don't even know what these people are saying. Like, what? I can't keep track of the conversations on there as well. They jump all over the place. Like, it's
Yeah.
just
You just
yeah,
get
I
sucked down
try.
rabbit holes.
Yeah, I wasn't much as like a Tumblr person either, or a MySpace person. They all confused me, and I think Twitter is quite similar to that kind of vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
No, I
it's
see
it's
that.
that vibe that baffles me a little bit. I like
Yeah.
the things I can like
Yeah, that
schedule.
makes sense. Yeah, so you're not a fan of Twitter. That's fine. That's cool. Yeah, no, not everybody likes it, but I can tell that you kind of are a fan of Instagram more, and that's interesting because I freaking hate Instagram.
Let's swap. I'll run your Instagram, you run my Twitter, and we'll see how we go.
Okay, the thing with Instagram is it tried to like block me, and I think there was something wrong with the phone app at one point where like every time I go on, it would give me action blocks, and I'm like, Instagram, I'm not even on here long enough to get an action block. Like I don't even like things. I don't even really post that much. So it tried to like screw me over a little bit. And then also I feel like ever since the pandemic, I didn't really have anything to really post because I would always post like fun things. And then it just turned into me posting covers and like random music things. And I just got like really bored.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough. I think Reels have kind of reignited Instagram a bit, but for sure before it was getting a bit stagnant, to be honest, wasn't it?
So for your reels, I definitely want to make some of those, but I haven't yet. But what are your favorite kind of things to do for your reels?
Definitely behind the scenes things. I'd like to do some more talky ones, but again, you have to plan them out. Like, they
Right,
take so
yeah.
long to record. So I need to block out like a content day, film all the reels on one day, and just change outfits.
That's
I
a good
think that's the
idea.
plan. Yeah, yeah, that is actually a good idea. I'm glad I just came up with that. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. No, it's a good idea.
Content day. Yeah, yeah, like things like that. The ones that are interactive as well. There's the BCMA awards are going on in the UK right now as well, so that's quite good. But like, I saw Amelia Quinn, is a friend of mine. She did a real like promoting the awards and the nominations and things. And it was just really funny, and it was really quick, really simple, funny. She used a few words. She did some funky dance moves, and that's all Reels needs. But it's having the creative mind as well, to kind of go, right. Okay, I'm going to do this, and then that can link to that, and then I can switch into this frame. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot.
But yeah, it is a lot. It takes a lot of effort for sure. But I think you just got to find the right kind of template.
That's also why I'm not on TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
I try. it's it's one that I'm trying with. Maybe one day I'll be good at it.
Yeah, no, see, that's the thing, because I feel like the only way to really get super successful on TikTok is to post like every day and make things super interesting. And I just do not have A, the time or B, the patience to do that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how people have the time to do it. They must just film them all in one day. Like, I don't get it. I wish I did. I really, really wish I had the time, but like, or they just maybe they just don't have 9 to 5s. I think having a 9 to 5 kind of takes that a lot of time away for sure. But yeah, no, don't know. Maybe they're just really quick on their phone. Maybe
uh,
we're just a bit old, so we get a bit stuck. I don't know.
yeah. Oh man. Well, a little bit ago, you mentioned you like posting things that are interactive, and that really stood out to me because the best way to utilize social media is to be interactive with everybody on there, your fans and all the followers. So, what is your favorite platform to live stream on? Because this is such a huge part of social media. And when do you do it? How often do you do it? And how do you interact with your watchers or listeners while you're doing it?
Yeah, so I live stream quite a lot. Definitely over the past year and a half, I have done nothing but live stream, and it's kind of been a real trial and error. I found that Facebook gets a really good level of interaction, as well as once it's done, you can kind of share it around and people watch it as though it's in real time. Um, Instagram is okay. You don't really get too much interaction while it's actually on, but then when you come off, you kind of get the same level of interaction as you would with a normal post. But also with Instagram, once you then post it, you lose all the kind of comments that were coming in during the stream. um and I think it's quite nice on Facebook, and I know Facebook is kind of like dying a death at the moment. But over on Facebook, at least when you then post it after the stream, the comments come through as they did during the stream. Um, so people can kind of like watch the video and then see the comments that were popping up at the same time, so they can see that when you're reacting to something, they can see what you were actually reacting to. Whereas on Instagram is like, oh, thanks so much, blah, blah, blah. And then the person watching it 10 minutes after it's been posted is like, what did they say though?
Yeah.
um so that there's that aspect of it. I think engagement is pretty similar on both in the kind of like grand scheme of things. It doesn't vary too much. Um, I haven't tried it over on TikTok yet. Um, that's another thing on my list. But and also doing it regularly is really good. Like I do quite a lot of Instagram live streams for other people. So a lot of the really the supporters of country music in the UK and things kind of get me on. Um, and then I do a few over on my own one on Facebook, and that's the Moonshow Mondays that I do kind of once a month, um, where we all just kind of sit there and chat for an hour. Uh, and they've been going really well actually. And I find you don't really have to do it too often anymore because gigs are starting to crack back on, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, well, timer went off, but let's keep talking just a little longer. I love live streaming. Like, I've tried to do a lot, especially during the pandemic. I tried to do Instagram lives once a week. And Facebook, I haven't really done that many on, but I found I got a lot of engagement on Instagram, which is kind of weird because I'm never on that app.
Maybe that's why. Maybe they did it so that you'd be on there more.
But yeah, I definitely think they're really important. And now, like, even though things are opening up again, I still think that for us and utilizing our social media, I think it's still important for us to continue live streams, even with in person concerts happening, just because when you do live streams, like, one of the best things about social media is we're able to connect with people from all over the world. And we don't have that when we're doing in person concerts unless we live stream the concert. So I think it is important to stay connected with our worldwide audience with live streams.
Yeah, completely. I couldn't agree more. I think that's the reason that I will be carrying it on, to be honest, because it helps me interact with the people there's one fan who's so supportive, and she's in the Netherlands.
Wow.
So for her, like coming over to the UK is a real schlep. So and she's been so supportive that I wouldn't then want to just, it feels like just cutting them off, and I don't like that. That it feels like you cut that relationship, and when it's at a really lovely point. Um and definitely, like, I wouldn't have met half the people that I have without live streaming. um, and like met new fans, and people who have listened to my music and really enjoy it, and people who've interacted on them and that I've had conversations with, like while I've been streaming. None of that would have happened live. Like, you can't see comments roll in while you're playing like on a
Yeah.
stage with an audience, can you? So it's definitely it's lovely in that respect for sure, and I'll definitely be carrying it on.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned relationships too, not wanting to cut those off. And I think relationships in this industry are so important, whether that be in person relationships or over social media. And I think no matter what happens, no matter how annoying and frustrating social media can be at times, I think we both have to always remember that we make such incredible relationships that we have to keep strong in order to keep pushing forward with our careers. And those people are all over the world, and social media can be bad at times, but in a way, it's a gift that allows us to keep these connections strong.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, two of my closest friends, I've met one of them once, and the other I haven't even met yet. Like, because of the power of social media, and especially over the past like year and a half, UK's been in lockdown fairly often, which has meant that we haven't been able to travel to see anyone. Um, so it's been the only way to keep contact going and to meet new people. And the relationships I've made over the past year and a half have been incredible. Like, there's some that I couldn't imagine not having now. So it's, yeah, definitely.
I completely agree. 100%. And like everybody over in the UK, all of you guys, I love you all. And like without social media, I wouldn't have connected with any of you. Like
Oh,
I literally just want
exactly.
to hop
Yeah.
on a plane and fly over there. Like you guys are more supportive than the United States is.
See, oh, come to Brighton. I live by the sea. Come visit me.
I will. That'll
We can go get a
happen.
coffee.
Yeah, I'll make my way over there one day. Um, what are some pieces of advice that you would like to share to everybody listening regarding social media?
Don't take it too seriously, definitely. Try and take things with a pinch of salt. Like, I remember when I released my first song, there was I had a friend who said that she wouldn't support my song because of someone who was involved in the music video for it. And it absolutely broke my heart. And that was just after it got to the UK number one in the country iTunes charts. And I remember it just completely ruined that moment for me. And I wish I had been someone who could have read that and gone, "Oh, fair enough," and just moved on. Do you know what I mean? And I think taking things with a pinch of salt, trying really hard to keep a distance between what happens on social media and what happens in the real life is important as well. Managing your time, taking, try and take 3 hours a day where you don't sit on your phone. Like, have a cut off point. At 10 o'clock at night, or half nine even, my phone is gone. I don't look at that thing again until the morning. And I think that's really important. And stay engaging on there too. Talk to people, interact, be positive, be a positive influence in people's lives. Try and make sure you don't ghost post. Don't post something and then disappear. Like, post it, interact with people who are replying to you, but don't do it so that it controls your entire life. I think that's really important.
So many amazing pieces of advice. Thank you so much, Georgia.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, it was awesome having you. Where can you share with the listeners where they can find you on social media and listen to your music?
Whoop. Well, if you want to see me fail on Twitter, it's Georgia Music UK. If you'd like to see me half be successful on Instagram, it's Georgia Nevada UK. I'm also Georgia Nevada on Facebook, and my website is georgianevada.co.uk. That's probably the safest place to go. um, but yeah, pop me a message. Give me a heads up to let me know you're there, and let's chat.
Thank you so much again for joining me. I'm very excited for your new music coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. Well, thank you again, Georgia. Listeners, thank you so much for listening to this episode all about social media. And of course, until next time, stay
Stay
right
right
on
on
track.
track.